Good morning. It is Wednesday, December 13th, a big day today with the PPI data along with a whole bunch of other economic data. And of course, Powell, he will show up at 2:30 on the podium. And who knows what he's going to say? Well, I kind of know what he's going to say. It's not, I don't agree with what he's going to say, but he also can't say much different. Unfortunately, the Fed is caught in a catch-22 that he and his colleague created. Being late to raising rate last year compounded the problem that we have, that created the situation that we have today, where we take much longer and much higher in raising rate to slow down inflation. And so now inflation is slowing down significantly, but the Fed is so fearful of what happened in the 70s or the 80s that he want to see the white of the inflation eyes before he say it's done, we are done. Okay, it's just one of those things where he doesn't want to say anything that's dovish to get the consumer to jump in. And I don't blame him, but at the same time, we are living in the age that very reactive, you know. So in that, I blame the consumer. The consumer is so reactive to the future because we are trained that way. If we know that the Fed is going to raise rate, or if we know the Fed is going to cut rate, we know it's going to be good for the market. We know it's going to be good for the economy. So we switch from being cautious to start spending again, right? We are trained that way, asking way too much of the average person. We are cave people. We are stupid in general. A lot of people are stupid. I can do stupid things at times. Yes, I can do stupid things at times. We all have done stupid things at times. The problem is a lot of people do a lot of stupid things a lot of time. That's the difference between successful people and people that fail. Is we all can do stupid things and have done stupid things. The question is, how much stupid things can you do before you ruin financially? All right, enough of the using of the word stupid. Duh. Okay, real quick. TLT, it will trade at this tight range until data change. I'm not gonna waste my time talking anymore about anything else. Enough of that, right? Uh, let's see what the Fed will do. Like I said, I can't imagine the Fed saying anything different. And who knows what the market's gonna do, right? I can imagine the market is gonna be down because the market want to hear the word pause. Okay, Powell is in a catch-22, and the market is so irrational in its expectation. Okay, I am rational. I'm logical. I understand why the Fed is in a pickle. Now, who knows what the bots are programmed to do, picking out every single word that he's gonna fumble and mumble and stumble on the podium today. So who knows? Okay, I just know that whatever reaction it is, as in previous big into Powell taking the podium, he might say something that the bots will like and reverse it. So whatever the first reaction is the wrong direction. Okay, that's my take on how to handle the Fed. So right now, the market look like it's popping in pre-market. I see TLT is up. I see a bunch of stuff that is up. What should you do? Trim. It is that simple, right? I trimmed yesterday. Yes, I did. Nvidia, I did. We will go through it, but I trim some of the Max 7 yesterday. It is that simple. Okay, it's so if I see continued strength into the Max 7, I will keep trimming, just as I was buying the dip last week. Nimble, trade quick. Okay, it's if you can't trade, stay out. All right. What's more important that I want to focus on is oil. Okay, that's to me signal where the economy is more so than how stubborn the consumer is and the flaw CPI data. To me, that is more concrete is why the economy is very weak. Yes, I'm using the word very. Okay, let's step back and talk about an analogy that many people can understand and perhaps agree. People buy stock for one reason: they expect it to go up. I'm not talking about short covering, okay? But in general, whether you are an individual investor or if you are the director of a company, like insider, okay? Like I always cringe at how people look at insider activities and make a big deal out of it. Usually, buying is very bullish. Can the director, the CEO, misread the company and buy his own stocks because he think it's cheap and then he turned out to make a mistake? Absolutely, that happened all the time too. But there's a difference between getting shares from, like most directors, CEO gets share compensation. So please, when you look at insider activity, understand when it is open market purchase and when it is share as given to them for compensation. Okay, it is the big difference. But if you and I or a CEO is out there buying the stock, there is one reason that we expect. The only expectation we have is to go up. Longer what we want or expected, or the stock has run too hard. But there are also occasions where, sure, the stock is still a good stock. There's still room for upside, but we have better opportunities somewhere else. We see another. If a CEO have billions and billions of stock, and he want to diversify and sell 100 million to buy a yacht for his mistress, is that a big deal? Holy cow! When I hear people freaking out on insider selling, I'm just like, really? What part of stupid is that? Yes, like I said, a lot of people do stupid things. That is one of them. Freaking out on insider information, selling, buying is nonsense. So stop. Oil going down. Oil, okay, so let's circle back to oil after I just went on my little mini rant on buying and selling and the reasons. Oil 2 years, if anything, is a very big example of um, let me take a second here. This stream is not working correctly, but if it does, I hope it does because I really do not want. Let's get back to what I'm talking about. Oil is heavily manipulated. We saw this, if anything, it's very obvious the last 2 years with the war in the Ukraine, and everybody start to call for oil barrel to be 100, 200, some crazy prices because of supply disruption, this and that, all kind of crazy stuff. Okay, we none of it is true. There's no shortage of oil. We pump. There's so much oil pumping. There are so much oil. There was all kind of narrative about, oh, the Biden presidency hurt the oil company because he take away incentive to drill more, blah blah blah. Well, guess what? We are drilling more today than under President Trump. Okay. Yes, we are pumping more today than under President Trump. So all that narrative at the start of the right when demand is so weak, even when Saudi and even Russia this past week, cut production. When demand is so weak, they have no choice but cut prices. Okay, and that's what I'm seeing in USO. The weakness that we are seeing this past few weeks are telling us that the world economy is very weak and getting weaker. I don't care what about, sure, the CPI is what people want to talk about, rent inflation is what people want to focus on, but at the end of the day, energy is you can't lie about the weakness in oil. You can lie about the strength in oil. You can lie about the shortage, but when it comes down to the weakness in oil, yeah, when you and I buy stock, we want it to go higher. We expect it to go higher. When oil company have to cut prices, they have no choice. Attention to gasoline inventory, oil inventory is not economy around the world is weak. Okay, it is China is in big trouble, big trouble. Um, well, I can't tell if YouTube is working or not. To be honest, for all I can tell, it could be a big um, 9. That's how low I sell it. Okay, because I would not be surprised. Um, 63. It's gonna have to be 61 and below. Okay, so and as I said many times on my channel, if we are in a recession next year, I expect new low. It's not gonna be in the 60s. It's gonna be somewhere in the 50s. Okay, so more pains are coming. All right. Let's see. Do I need to even talk about the FANG? Not really, right? It's nothing has changed since this weekend. Trump, okay, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed, right? So um, the good news come out of Vertex. So unfortunately, well, fortunately, I've been selling a lot of put spreads for the past couple weeks. They should expire. I have 2 expiring this week. That should be fine. But yeah, share is popping. We are gonna hit back to 380. Look at that pre-market. Wow. Okay, a big wow. All that fear. This is so nonsense. This is nonsensical. This drop here on the fear of the pain-killing drug. Look at that. Look at that dropped. Well, good news. Phase 2 came out today. Boom, back to 380. So yeah, too late to chase now. But I will look to perhaps sell spread below. Maybe now I can, instead of like selling spread at, you know, 345, 340, maybe I can look to sell 3. Too late to chase now. Eli Lilly continue to strike in and trim a little bit. I had to. Um, but I think anything, if I see anything near 600, I might trim some more. It's a very small profit, but hey, at this point, I'd rather be safe than sorry. GSK, looking good. Would I trim more? Yeah, I have an order in, 36.75. Okay, so I get 36.75, 37, all the way up to 38. Orders are in there. So if it get up there, I will keep on trimming. Oh, Pfizer. Let's talk about Pfizer. Good, I did not add to this. I have been saying for a long time that it is not a stock I like. It's a mistake, and I'm keeping that mistake small. Thankfully, this past year, I did not add anything. I'm gonna go down to pandemic low. Yeah, we will test that. No doubt about that. Shameful, despicable, despicable. That's all. There's no other word. to describe this management team, but despicable. Oh, let's talk GDX. That got beat up a little bit, but that's okay. Like I said, I want to accumulate at the 29 and below range, so I'm not complaining. For sure, there was support at the 50 MA, but I'm not really, I think where I think it can go down, and I sold 28.5 naked put yesterday. I do think that it can go down to is 28. Okay, so if it come down and keep coming, I think it can happen there. I draw in this gray zone area, which I think that is the support zone, right? Sure, the next area will be down here. Okay, so there's a couple of zones that I think we can draw in as far as support for GDX. But yeah, you can call that, okay. But for me, well, that zone can apply all the way down to the low. Okay, so let's delete that, but it looks silly to be there, to be honest. Remove. But yeah, but for me right now, I think that could be the ultimate location where if the support fail, then you can see it down there, right? Which is 28-ish, which I think I like to go big on. I don't add a lot of GLD. I sell a put spread down there for GLD. Okay, for me, GLD put spread 181, 180. Okay, I sell 181, 179, and I would add 180, 178 kind of spread if it continues to drift down. But yeah, down there. For those that follow me in GLD, I talk about not chasing, right? I like gold. I've been talking about liking goals. When it break out right here, when it break this trend line up here on this move here was when gold got into my attention. Of course, I didn't buy any, right? I bought a little bit, and then I buy a little bit on dip here and there, but it's a small position. I got more invested in GDX at this moment, but I would add a whole lot more GLD in the 180, 181 area. Okay. The area that is doing okay is, of course, the medical device, which I must. Why do I say that? Well, the medical device suffer through COVID because less people opt to go, get knee surgery or hip replacement or whatever. But now we're coming out of that COVID problem and things were looking rosy. It was looking rosy. Here's a key. It was looking rosy, but a worldwide recession is gonna hurt the demand for their product. No if or buts about it. If you go back, and maybe I will do a separate videos later, but if you go back and look at the history of a recession, these companies, all of them, do not do well when people are broke, don't have a job, worry about the economy. They are not gonna go and spend thousands on hip surgery, knee surgery, you know it. Medtronic, same thing. They're all coming back to life, right? After the October sell-off, but be careful. Trim I will. Trim I must, okay? Anything near the 200 MA, yeah, you bet. EW, same thing. I already have an order in, okay? I'm ready. Anything, if it breach, I'm gonna put an alert right here. Well, I don't need an alert. I wouldn't see it, but Right now, my sell order is very careful. Um, let's see, what more can I talk about? Is there any more I need to talk about? I want to keep it short because I don't want to go through the same stuff on Fang that we all know. Okay, so the plan is simple: trim, trim the pop. Okay, trim the pop. It is that simple. I'm not saying buy the dips yet, but for now, depend on what kind of dip we get if when once Powell start talking. But for now, we are gonna be waiting for Powell. We are gonna be waiting for Powell. We know what the FOMC decision is gonna be. If anybody is surprised, you're stupid. Okay, they're not gonna raise rate. They're not gonna say anything that's gonna be like shocking to the market. The market will want to hear the word pause. You're not gonna get it. You are not going to get it, right? So get that through your thick head.